podcast. I'm your host, Jill, and before we jump into today's episode, if you have loved what you've been hearing, if you like the show, could you please like it, share it, comment, give it a rating, and share with all your friends. That will help the show get discovered. I would appreciate that so much. Also, I have recently launched a planner. I think it was a few months ago that I asked on my Instagram if y'all would love something like a planner that was designed for moms, for busy moms. And I have spent hundreds of dollars on planners. Over the years, not in like 1 year, but over the years, it was a running joke with my husband because I would basically buy myself a new one every Christmas, and it was like my little gift to myself. And then usually again in the summer because I was tired of the other one, but I maybe used the other one like twice. I just have this weird addiction with planners. But I realized what I needed was something without all the fluff. I needed something simple, something I could see all day long and not have to go back to. Like, you know, the planners that have like your daily reflections and stuff. Like, I didn't want to have to go back to it at the end of the day, or like fill out how much water I drank or something. And then I found this like tearaway pad one on Amazon that I liked for a while, but it had this big clock on it, which just confused me. And it still had like the water check off, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I can't keep up with that. And then I'm like, so much of a perfectionist, I guess you want to call it, where I'm like, I'd look at it and be like, man, I didn't complete the whole thing. And so I needed something without all the fluff, but something I could look at. So I created a planner that is downloadable and printable. You can have it printed at a Staples or something in a book form if you prefer it that way. Or you can do what I do, and that's just printing it off, and I put the pages up on my fridge after I filled them out because then I look at it throughout the day. And it has helped me so much with organizing my day, knowing what needs to happen, getting everything done. And now I'm offering this planner for sale for you. So in the show notes below, you'll see the link to it. So that way you can purchase it if you're wanting it. Go over to my Instagram. You can see in my stories, I post some little sneak peeks about what is all in it. But basically, there is an undated monthly calendar that you fill out for each month. There is an entire weekly schedule that I like to color code and make it look really pretty. It just fits my left-brained self. My left-brained self. There's an weekly cleaning checklist. Sorry, I'm looking at it right now. It's on my fridge. A daily personal planner. There's a weekly reflection, and there is a weekly family meeting, which is like my husband and I once a week have a family meeting where we talk about our budget and everything going on in the house for the next week and stuff. So there's all those different pages that you can download. You don't have to use one or two of them if you don't want to, but you have this for life. So right now it's on sale for $12. It's on sale right now for the launch sale for $12. And eventually that price is going to go up. But right now you can get it for $12 and you'll have it for life. But that also means that any updates that I do to it, anything I add to it, you will get completely for free. I will just automatically send it to you when it's updated. So you literally have this for life and it's yours for $12. So that is linked in the show notes below. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. This is actually quite different. It is currently 4:23 in the morning. I'm actually recording this today on Wednesday, April 5th, and I was going to do video, but because it's 4:23 in the morning, I'm not doing a video with this one. If I'm being completely honest, I'm in the middle of like a creative dip in my brain. I'm a big fan of cycle syncing, which is syncing your menstrual cycle with what you do. And I actually have a guest that will be on the podcast here in a few weeks who is a cycle syncing coach. Like, it's one of the things that she is very passionate about. She is very much knowledgeable about, and I learned about it from her. And so I have her on in a few weeks to talk about that a little bit more. But basically in my phases right now, I'm just in a little bit of a creative dip. And I have literally like a week break in between some interviews. So I knew I was going to be recording this one on my own. And then had it planned in my schedule on when I was going to record this podcast because I was going to do the video recording for it. But then my plans got changed a little bit, and today is actually incredibly busy. I'm going to be working out with a friend at 5 a.m. And then I have a full day packed between like taking a friend for an errand, and we're taking the kids to the splash park and a bunch of things. And then tonight I'm going to this wine event at a plantation with some friends. So it's just like a very, very full day. And so I knew that this was going to be a long day, so I needed sleep. So I, instead of staying up really late last night to video record this, I decided to go to bed very, very early and just get up at 3:45 instead. So here we are. It is now 4:25 in the morning, and I want to talk with you guys about my 30-day dress challenge. This is the other reason that this is being recorded right now, because I was going to just make a reel to talk about this dress challenge. But the more I dove into what I learned from this challenge, I was like, you know what? No, this is becoming a full podcast episode. So yeah, this is what we're talking about. If you don't know, in the month of, it was like halfway through February into March, I wore nothing but a dress for 30 days. 30 full days, I only wore a dress, unless I was working out or literally just like sleeping or fully lounging around my house. But even then, I still pretty much wore a dress, except for working out. So and it was really interesting because there was a span of about 2 weeks within those 30 days that my kids were really, really sick. They had some sort of stomach flu and then a viral infection, and we literally spent like a week just sleeping together on our nugget couch in the living room, and I still stayed in a dress. Now, I was in a house dress for that. So it was a house dress. If you aren't following Nesting Olive, you need to. They're wonderful. They make the best house dresses. 100% worth the price. This is not an ad. I'm just telling you this is what I wore. I have 2 of them, but they're nursing friendly. They have like snap buttons up in the top that unsnap so easily, and they're very, very comfortable. And I just wore it around the house. It's kind of like an oversized nightgown, to be honest, but not as grandma-y looking as a nightgown. It's just a pretty house dress. So I wore those while my kids were sick. I just did laundry like every day because I only owned 2 of them, and I just rotated between them. But I still was wearing a dress. Or sometimes I would wear a t-shirt dress, which still counts, still dress. And I ended up learning out. To be honest, I started the challenge just off a whim. I don't remember. I think this is like it's been such a topic for a while about like what is a woman, all that conversation, but it was really, really at a high point. And I was like, you know what? Like, I just want to embrace a little more of my feminine self and wear a dress for 30 days and see what I learn. And I don't know why I wanted to do it, but that was pretty much why. I just wanted to see what I would learn. And so I did it. And some of y'all joined me on Instagram, and I loved it. Loved hearing from you guys about how you were doing with your dresses. And how you felt. And so I want to share with you what I learned, but then also some like other truths that I experienced with it. So first of all, what I learned was, number one, I was way more productive. There's something to be said about just getting up and getting dressed for the day. I can't remember what it was, but there was, the fly lady method. There's a woman, I believe she's called the Fly Lady. I think. I probably have that totally wrong, but I think that's what she's called. And basically, like, she says, here's your routine that you need to have if you want to be more productive. And it's like, one of them is like every single night before you go to bed, make sure you clean up your entire kitchen. That way it's like a warm hug whenever you wake up in the morning because your kitchen's cleaned. The other one is getting dressed from head to toe, including putting shoes on, because you show up better, you are more productive when you are fully put together. I personally don't wear shoes in my house. I have carpet going up my stairs and upstairs, and it just grosses me out, so we don't allow shoes in our house. And so I don't do the whole to the shoes thing. Also, I'm a millennial. I'm a big fan of yoga pants and leggings. Big fan. As long as they're worn modestly and your butt's not showing, which they absolutely can be. I have some phenomenal leggings that I love that are completely dark and comfy, and I can wear with a t-shirt, no problem. So big fan of that. So I wasn't a fan of like getting dressed head to toe with jeans or something every single day. But I did notice, so I guess what I was saying was I never fully did like the fly lady method, but I always thought it was intriguing. And so what I learned then was by putting on a dress every single day, no matter if it was while my kids were sick or just a normal day, I did feel way more productive. I got so much more stuff done. I also felt more confident. I just like, I don't know, you feel more feminine, you feel prettier whenever you wear a dress. And it's always thought of like wearing a dress on like a special occasion or maybe a dress in the summer or something. And you just feel more confident. And so doing that for 30 days, whether I was doing something that day or just staying in my house all day, like I still felt more confident in myself. Another thing I learned is that bike shorts or anti-chafing cream are a must. If you are thick-thighed like me and don't have a thigh gap. Bike shorts are my favorite. I personally wear these all the time. I have children who play with my dresses and stuff, and like we sit on the floor during the sermon at church and everything, so I've learned to wear bike shorts anyways, because God forbid if my dress ever came up or something, at least I have shorts on. But anti-chafe cream, I don't remember the brand, but it's like a deodorant stick that I use. I love it with shorts especially, but it helps your thighs not chafe. It will save your life. So another thing I learned was that I stopped putting pressure on myself to look perfect in a dress. I don't know if you've ever felt like this, but when you put on a dress, right, like I said, you feel more feminine, you feel more confident, you feel prettier, you might feel like dolled up, right? So I would get stressed out, like if a mess was made, like if my kid was playing in dirt and I had to pick my kid up and now there's dirt on my dress, or if I was walking outside and having to do something and like got sweaty all of a sudden when I had this dress on or whatever. That pressure went away. It was like it clicked how women in like the 1800s into early 1900s and stuff always wear a dress. Like I would be like, how did you do this all day, every day with everything you did? Because, didn't have modern technology. Now I kind of get it because I live in South Carolina and it's really hot here. I just didn't care as much about like if it got a little bit dirty, I'm just gonna go throw another dress on. But I also made myself an apron. I made an apron that whenever I was in the kitchen, I tossed it over the dress so that way the dress wouldn't get covered in flour or food or grease or whatever. And so it just made me feel more relaxed, I guess. I didn't feel as stressed. Like if I needed to put on a dress and look nice, like I was able to just put it on. Another thing I learned is that I enjoyed my husband's daily reaction. He would come home and like he never saw me in a dress until after he got home from work because we get up at pretty much the same time every day. And he's gone for work by the time I'm dressed and ready. And so he would come home and he'd see me and he'd be like, you look so pretty, you look beautiful. And there was just always a compliment. Now, granted, like he compliments me every day as it is. Maybe it's on what I'm doing or what I cooked or whatever. But like, this was just like, wow, you look really, really pretty because I was always wearing a dress. And I really liked that. I feel like it spiced up our marriage a little bit. We definitely were a little more flirty because I was embracing much more of my feminine self in doing this. And he noticed that too. And so that was really, really nice. And then I guess overall, I just felt more feminine. I felt more nurturing and more soft-hearted. I am healing a lot of my inner child as a parent. Most of us are. But I grew up with parents who screamed all the time. I got butt smacks as a kid. Like, your emotions weren't really valid growing up. Children were to be seen, not heard. That whole thing. And I am working really, really hard to change that with my kids and make sure that they know that their emotions are always valid and that they are safe with me, and I am here to help them process these big emotions that their bodies are feeling and all this stuff. There are sometimes, though, where I just absolutely lose my crap because I'm human, and my, like, what I was conditioned in as a child might come out and I might be screaming at my child or something. I noticed that I did that so much less when I was wearing a dress. I don't know why. And I would be curious to see if there was ever like a study done on this. But I was much more nurturing, much more patient. That's the biggest thing, because I am definitely not patient. I was much more patient and soft-hearted with my kids when I was wearing a dress. And I thought that was really, really interesting. So some other truths that I then experienced was that I did want pants by day 17. Day 17, I think this was like past the point of my kids had just been super sick and stuff, and I was just really craving some pants. So I remember that day. That was the one day I didn't wear pants, or I didn't wear a dress that day. But we were home all day as it was. And like I said, the kids had just gotten done getting sick. So I was just cleaning the house, like getting all the sickness out of the house. So I was like, I'm putting on leggings and a t-shirt today, and that's all I'm wearing. And that was the only day I didn't wear a dress. So I will say, after wearing a dress for many days in a row, eventually I was craving pants. But I was also really thankful for the specific nursing-friendly house dresses from Nesting Olive. Had I not had those, I definitely would have been wearing leggings and a t-shirt while my kids were sick the whole time. Because none of the other dresses I own are super nursing-friendly, nor are they comfy enough to just like lounge around in the house in. So really, really thankful for those specific dresses. And then another truth that I experienced was that it's easier to get tired of dresses more than the rest of your clothes when you get up in the morning. So like, obviously I have a limited amount of dresses, right? I have probably a week's worth of dresses. And, you know, whenever we get dressed in the morning, unless you're a minimalist or do a capsule wardrobe or something, usually you're like, oh, I have nothing to wear when you're staring at a closet full of clothes. But truly, the possibilities are endless, right? You can do jeans with this shirt or leggings with this shirt, and you can like mix match all your outfits and make 100 different outfits out of like 10 different things, right? That's not the case with dresses. You have one dress, that is what you wear. Like, you might be able to spice it up in the winter with a sweater, or I don't know, add a cardigan or something, but it's very limited as to how you can spice it up with a dress. And so after wearing the same dresses every few days in a row, I was starting to get tired of the dresses and like just wanted something else to wear. So I did notice that. So if you have an unlimited budget and can just buy a bunch of dresses all the time, then you'll probably never get sick of wearing dresses. That was not the case. And so, I mean, I still love all the dresses that I own, but it has been nice taking a little break from wearing them. I'm going to actually be putting on a dress tonight, and this will be I wear a dress to church every Sunday, but that's about it now because I needed a break from the same thing every single day. So I did notice that. So I guess, I don't know, I guess what I learned was that there's definitely something to be said about embracing more of your feminine side. Whether it be wearing a dress or just getting a little more dolled up or being a little more nurturing or soft-hearted, however you define femininity, there is definitely something to be said about embracing more of it, and how much, honestly, more of like, I showed up as a better person, I think, to my children. I feel like that sounded so very not humble, but I like it, just to my children especially, and to my husband, like I know like I was kinder, more soft-hearted, and I was more patient wearing a dress. And like I said, I was more productive and more confident through the day. And so there's definitely something to just be said about wearing a dress all the time, or just doing something that embraces more of your feminine side. That being said, it's also totally okay to wear pants. Like, it's 100% okay to just want to wear leggings or shorts or jeans or whatever it is and still be incredibly feminine. So I learned a lot from the challenge. It's not like something that I'm going to put into a daily practice for the rest of my life. It wasn't like this life-changing thing where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to only do this and wear dresses for the rest of my life. Yeah, that's not the case. But it was just really interesting to learn those different things about myself. And so I challenge you. Maybe it's not for a month, because a month is a very long time. But maybe give yourself a week or 2 weeks. And if you work somewhere where you can't wear a dress, that's fine. Just wear a dress whenever you leave work. Make it like, be intentional that when you leave work, you put on a dress and challenge yourself. Do it for like a week or 2 weeks, or do something that feels a little more feminine to you. Maybe that's gardening. Maybe it's doing your makeup every single day. Something that's just a little more feminine. Try it solidly for a week to 2 weeks and see what happens. See how you feel, and see how you show up as a woman. So I want to thank you guys so much for listening to today's podcast. Again, if you liked it, if you loved it, if you have any comments or anything, be sure to like it, comment below, share it, give it a rating. That will help the show get discovered. And I'd love to chat with you more about this challenge. So any questions you have or comments about it, be sure to comment below or send me a DM on Instagram. Thank you guys for listening today, and we will see you next week.